The authorities actually listen and watch over you while you are playing video games. There are some cases of people getting in trouble because of things they said or did in video games. You would think that the government or the police would never dedicate the time to surveil what you do or say in video games. Well, you would be wrong. Also, when the authorities don't do it, there are other players in the game and people on social media that would report certain types of behavior. Ubisoft even made an arrangement with the police in case the in-game behavior gets out of line, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's find out a little bit more about how much they actually spy on us. First, let's try to define this surveillance. Well, as you can imagine, bad actors can organize themselves and communicate through different various means online in order to conduct terror attacks, shootings, spying, and all of that bad stuff. So, governments thought, that's no bueno, we shouldn't let that happen. Fair enough, it's no secret that authorities have the ability to monitor our online activity. But there is a very fine line between security concerns and mass surveillance. This is a double-edged sword, as it both protects governments and people from certain threats, and it can trample people's rights to privacy. But if they listen, do they listen absolutely everywhere? Well, if you have ever heard the name Edward Snowden, you might have heard that about 10 years ago, he might have leaked some pretty important stuff from the NSA while he was working there as a contractor. He leaked tens and hundreds of top secret documents that were kinda crossing the line that we're talking about before. And it was going heavily into mass surveillance. One of the documents he leaked was about the government spying and listening into World of Warcraft and Second Life to prevent terrorist attacks? Online games might not seem like the first place for bad people to go on and talk about their sandwiches. But a top secret 2008 NSA document warned that they have the potential to be a target-rich communication network, allowing intelligence suspects a way to hide in plain sight. Virtual games are an opportunity, another 2008 NSA document revealed. In the same year, the British intelligence had set up its first intelligence deployment into Second Life and had helped the police in London in cracking down on a crime ring that moved into virtual worlds to sell stolen credit card information. This is one of the legit ways of tackling suspected criminal activities. Although when the maker companies of those games were confronted about letting themselves willingly be used as a medium of spying, they declined everything, so take everything with a grain of salt. An example of a terrible attack that authorities think was planned on PS4 consoles is the 13th of November 2015 Paris attack. The police tried to figure out how ISIS planned such an elaborate attack, and they came to the conclusion that it might have been on PS4 consoles in games like Super Mario Maker and Call of Duty. An ISIS agent could spell out an attack in Super Mario Maker's coins, or two Call of Duty players could write messages to each other on a wall in a disappearing spray of bullets. Even though the examples we've talked about are based on real documents and reports, it's important not to take everything at face value. Sure, some of those can be proven, but that doesn't mean that every rumor or claim about surveillance is true. It's really easy to get caught up in fear and paranoia, but we need to stay smart about this. Although, as much as we would love to remove our tinfoil hats, a lot of anti-cheat systems in modern video games arise a lot of suspicions. An example comes from Valorant, the highly popular first-person shooter made by Riot. When Valorant was launched, players were surprised to discover that its anti-cheat system, Vanguard, was operating at the kernel level, essentially allowing to monitor a player's activity even when the game wasn't running. While the intent was to prevent cheating, critics voiced concerns about the invasive nature of this software, claiming it could open doors to different forms of surveillance. The kernel access meant that theoretically it could monitor all aspects of a player's system, from browsing habits to other private communications. Also, the same anti-cheat was implemented into League of Legends not too long ago. While Riot Games defended this approach as necessary to ensure fair gameplay, the case stirred broader discussions on the trade-off between security, privacy, and the potential for surveillance embedded directly into the software. Looking ahead, the future of surveillance in online video games it's likely to become more complex and pervasive, as games continue to evolve and implement more immersive technologies, like virtual reality and augmented reality. In that case, the potential for surveillance will only grow. These platforms offer deeper levels of interaction and with them even more data points to monitor, from physical movements and gestures to biometric data. With such advancements, the line between maintaining security and protecting privacy becomes even more blurred. To light up the mood a little bit, you might not get into trouble, but for sure people on social media will have something to say about what you are doing in games. When Red Dead Redemption 2 was released, a guy made a video while he was beating in-game a women's rights activist. People had mixed opinions about this, but the comment section on that video is a goldmine. Have a look. You know, I've told you that Ubisoft made an arrangement with the police. In 2023, Ubisoft signed the first of its kind deal with the Northumbria police in the UK to try and tackle issues like forced fornication jokes, bullying and racism. What happened is that Ubisoft employees that dealt with this sort of stuff were trained at the police Newcastle Centre on how to deal with online issues and to escalate them directly to authorities. For instance, they've already collaborated on cases involving overseas authorities, such as contacting Norwegian police to take safeguarding actions. Although only a small number of cases require police involvement, which is 0.01%, this initiative reflects a growing trend in addressing toxic behavior in online environments with real-life consequences. The project is also intended to serve as a model for other gaming companies, helping to create safer online communities by involving law enforcement when necessary. I myself have first-hand experience with this type of behavior online every time when I was inting the enemy lane in League of Legends. I also understand that there are vulnerable people online that might take the words and threats that are being said to them at face value. And at the same time, who knows when an actual crazy person will try to carry out whatever they said in the chat. Moreover, I have a few questions. How would those people at Ubisoft be able to monitor chats across so many games? Is there going to be some sort of trigger system which will then raise an issue to be examined manually? Or is it a fully manual process? If I will write in the chat that I'm leaving the house to go buy a kebab and then I pop up back in the game, will Ubisoft see that? We don't know, but we can definitely see an increase on making the online environment safer at the expense of privacy. As technology advances, the line between safety and invasion of privacy blurs, making us question who's really watching us. So, as you log in into your favorite game, remember, it's not just a game anymore. Or maybe it is. We can't be 100% sure. The fact is that we have to stay aware, smart, and also there's not much we can do about it. Now, don't forget to hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, ding dong the notification bell, and also leave a comment down below and tell us what you think about surveillance in games. Also, our latest 2 videos are right here. Bye!